Hello guys. So in this tutorial we are going to host a static website on an EC2 instance with the help of a Docker container. So basically we are going to containerize an Nginx web server where we are going to host our static website. So first we have to create an EC2 instance, and for that the step first one is first we are going to create an EC2 security group with the port 80 and port 22 uh, is allowed on the inbound rule. So let's go to the EC2 console. First we have to create the security group for our EC2 instance. uh, I think I have already created one. So let's create a new security group. We are going to name it static wb group and allow port 80 and 22. Now we are going to add two rules. First we have to allow SSH, and we are going to set the source as anywhere, or you can also use set the my IP, but I'm going to use this one. And we after that we have to add HTTP, allow HTTP service on port 80, and uh, save the settings, and our security group is created. Now the second step is we and also second step is we have to create, sorry, EC2 instance, but we also have to generate a key pair in order to SSH into our EC2 instance. So let's create key pair test key. You can name it anything. I'm going to generate a PAM private key because I'm going to use SSH command line SSH. Now download the key, and as you can as and we have are created the key. Now let's create an instance. So I'm going to use Ubuntu AMI static site. Name is static site. I'm going to select the Ubuntu image, AMI image, and the instance type is T2 micro, and key pair I'm going to select the test key, and I'm for security groups. Uh, this is our security group, static WB group, and size will be the let's set it to 20 GB. Although we don't need 20 GB, but since we are going to run Docker container, so we are going to set 20 GB. And in advanced details, we are going to use shell script in order to provision the Docker environment in the instance. So I already wrote the provision script. 1 minute. Here it is. So this is our provision script. Let me move to that window. So this is our provision script. Actually it is here also. So this shell script is basically install all the requirements and for a Docker container, and we don't have to modify anything here, but except that this username. So this username basically indicates which user we are going to add onto the Docker group. So let's copy this, and we have to modify, basically change this one. So since we are using Ubuntu AMI, so the name would be Ubuntu. And if you are using another AMI like Amazon Linux, so you have to give appropriate name. For example, for Amazon Linux ET users or something like that username is. Now just we have to launch the uh, EC2 instance. Now the provision will take place. And after that, our next step is uh, step third is basically we have to create Docker file with Nginx configuration. So let's take a look at the Docker file. So basically, these are simple simple Docker file commands. So we are going to use uh, Docker image. Sorry, Nginx latest image in order to build our Docker container. And after that, we are going to run the apt update and upgrade command, and we are going to install wget and unzip binaries, and work directory is default Nginx root directory, which is user share Nginx and html. And okay, so we also have to write Nginx configuration file, which is here. So it basically set the sorry it basically set the Nginx to listen port number 80, and the root directory set the root directory to user share Nginx and html. And these are the basic configuration for Nginx, our Nginx file. And uh, basically we are going to copy this in this line. The copy command basically copy the Nginx config default config to the etc Nginx sites enable directory, which is basically where basically the Nginx configuration file is get stored. And for static website, we are going to use this sample static website from bootstrap mode sorry mate.com. So in order to download get the link of the or get the download, so you can get the download link from here. And if you click here, then it will automatically start the download. Then you can basically copy this URL. Oops, I think it's download twice this URL, and paste it here basically, or in our configuration file. Oops. So basically the add command is so basically the add command is going to copy the or download the zip file into the work directory. And the second this command basically this command going to unzip the zip file. And the next command basically copy all the files into the html directory. And this command will remove the uh, zip file and the empty folder. And the expose command will basically going to expose port 80. And the Nginx g daemon off command basically going to run the Nginx file. So these are the basic configuration and for the Docker container file. So now let's check the our EC2 instance. Now let's SSH into the instance, connect and SSH client, SSH key. And actually my key is basically downloaded on the download folder. Yep, it's here. So now let's SSH into the EC2 instance. So downloads and paste the command. Yes. Let's wait for some moment. Yep. Now we are successfully SSH into the Docker container. Now let's run the Docker container. Docker hello world. This is basically actually my internet connection is a little bit slow, so that's the reason behind lag. A little bit lag. Oops. Hello. Oops, I forget the run command. Docker run. Yep, now it's working properly. So now let's create the Docker file. Docker file. So I have already created the Docker file for this. So basically we just have to copy all these things. You can find this code on my GitHub repository, so don't worry about it. And I already explained the code, so now let's save it. And also we have to create the Nginx config file, because the Docker container basically going to copy this sorry Docker file basically going to copy the default conf to the this location. So now let's copy this one also, copy, and vi default dot conf. Oops, I typed vi twice. Now okay, now let's create the docker image. Docker build t test img and version v1 dot. Now it will basically going to create the image file. Oops, let's put it upper side. It doesn't take that much of time, or yeah, because we are doing it inside the EC2 instance. Okay, so everything is fine. Now let's look at the docker image. Okay, so as you can see, our test image is basically created. Now let's run the container by using, let's sorry, create the container by using this image. So the command is docker run okay, rm d. We are going to run this in the background, rmd, and we have to expose, we have to map the port 80 to 80. And what is the next command? And I think everything is okay. Now let's give the name of the image with tag and run the docker container. Now let's check docker ps. Now as you can see, our container is running and port 80 is exposed. So now let's get the IP of our instance, EC2 instance, sorry, public IP. So this is the our public our instance. Now let's copy the public DNS instead of the IP and paste it here. And now let's visit that particular URL. Okay, so as you can see, we are able to access our static website, which is hosted which is running on the inside the docker container in EC2 instance. And so that's it, guys. And if you want to check the docker container, then we can also SSH run a shell inside container, docker sorry docker container exec it, and we have to give yep dash. So as you can see, service Nginx status, yep, it is running, and we are in the work directory. So as you can see, these are the files of our static website. So that's it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching the video.